morning. I need a lot of coffee. And it tastes so good. Still not feeling better. Oh, and last night, I guess Hannah got sick. So, mom's working, so I'm trying to let her have uninterrupted sleep. So, Hannah had an earache in the middle of the night, so I was up taking care of her. And yeah, I'm tired. Chapter 1 of the Gospel of Mark, verse 40. Now a leopard came to, leper, I said leopard. There were no leopards. A leper came to him, imploring him, kneeling down to him and saying to him, "If you are willing, you can make me clean." Then Jesus, moved with compassion, stretched out his hand and touched him and said to him, "I am willing, be cleansed." As soon as he had spoken, immediately the leprosy left him, and he was cleansed. And he strictly warned him and sent him away at once, and said to him, "See that you say nothing to anyone, but go your way, show yourself to the priest, and offer for your cleansing those things which Moses commanded as a testimony to them." However, he went out and began to proclaim it freely, and to spread the matter, so that Jesus could no longer openly enter the city, but was outside in deserted places, and they came to him from every direction. So, this is the same account as we have in the beginning of Luke's gospel, which I'd say Luke's gospel, it's fairly similar. Not much added. If he's willing, and he goes and reported it. At the end of Luke's gospel, or not the end of the gospel, but the end of this story in Luke's gospel, where Luke has it in chapter 5, verses 12 to 16, right after mentioning how he had to go live in the desert, deserted places, and that people came all the more often, it said, so Jesus himself often withdrew into the wilderness and prayed. The first thing is that this leper came to Jesus, knowing and believing that Jesus was able, that God is able to make him clean. The real question is was God willing? Are you willing to make me clean? And of course, Jesus says, I'm willing. And the guy has leprosy cured, which, again, it's like most of us haven't dealt with the idea of Hansen's disease, leprosy, where, your body, it's kind of like becoming a zombie. Like your body begins to fall apart. In many ways, if you imagine what would happen to a dead body, where things begin to literally just deteriorate and break down and eventually fall off, that's what happens to someone with leprosy. And so it's a little bit slower process, I think, but it's kind of the same thing. And so you are the walking dead. You have to cover your face and declare that you're unclean, and you have to keep a certain distance from people, depending on if you're upwind or downwind. It can depend, how far away you have to stay. And so this guy has been cut off from life, cut off from everything. And leprosy is a picture of sin, in that sin is death. It is cancerous. It does consume our whole body. And when we are in sin, it does cut us off. It is something that makes us unclean. And oftentimes, I think that's the deception of Satan, is he makes us wonder, is God willing to forgive us again? But Jesus makes it really clear, I am willing. Go, right? And present yourself to the priest, doing this ritual that the priest never would have ever done. You don't get better from leprosy. It wasn't something that was curable. And so here's this whole section of Leviticus that we've studied together, chapters 13 and 14, talking about what to do when a leper is cured. And it's kind of like saying, like, here's the procedure for when an amputee, has their arm grow back. It's never happened before. But here it does happen. He goes to the priest and shows himself. And isn't it interesting how Jesus says, don't tell anyone, and yet he tells everyone? I think it's a natural byproduct. When God does something amazing in your life, you tell people. And I would even say, while God is still doing great things in your life, you tell people. Yet, oftentimes, when we kind of just get into rolling through the motions, we're now just doing church. This is what we do. It becomes kind of routine. You don't go and tell everyone like you used to. It can be a little bit like marriage, where there's those honeymooners where they're just young and in love and so excited, and they're always talking about the other person, how much they love them, and then eventually things settle down. But ultimately, it's not the way marriage should be, and it's not the way our relationship with God should be. That there should be continued excitement. There should be continued interest to share about what God's doing. And I think some of it is because, we're people, and we naturally go and get stuck in ruts. Kind of just, this is the way things are going. This leper, even when Jesus says, don't tell everyone, he's out there telling everyone. And so I would say a test we could give ourselves is really seeing how excited we are about the Lord and how it correlates with how much we're sharing and talking about the Lord. And if we're not sharing and talking about the Lord, well, maybe we need to stoke the fire. We need to be reminded of what he's done for us. And maybe we need to seek him again for fresh filling or fresh healing for different things. All that said, like I said before, I'm still not feeling well today. So I'm going to cut this a little shorter than normal. But God bless you guys, and I will see you guys around, okay? You guys take care.